I'll say it, Bitcoin. You know, that one day that falls to zero. And it goes up and it goes up and it goes up and you make money, it goes money. And the whole game, that Bitcoin is musical chairs. Bitcoin is musical chairs. You go round and you go round and you go, and everybody's hoping they're not the guy holding when it drops to zero. And it's so easy to sell these trades because all of these trades are designed such that everybody makes money until everybody gets killed. Crypto can hit zero.
Based on
I think it will hit zero.
And could eventually crash to zero. After predicting low interest rates and leaving finance to expose system flaws, Stevenson explains that Bitcoin's rise creates an illusion of endless profits. But when confidence fades, the crash is inevitable. As long as people keep buying, the price keeps rising. But when the hype ends, Bitcoin could fall instantly. Stick around as Stevenson explains why he believes Bitcoin's collapse is bound to happen.
Crypto can hit zero. I think it will hit zero.
Why do you think that?
It don't exist, mate. Listen, this is what I always say about crypto, right? Imagine you're Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Probably I don't need to tell you who that is.
Yeah,
right? Guy who founds crypto. You make up something for free, costless to make. People are paying you for it. Fucking hell. Oh my God. The amount you've got on paper, suddenly it's worth like £500,000. Talk about the early days. But you know, as soon as you start selling it, you might get 200 grand, 300 grand. You can't sell £5 million. What are you going to do? If it were me, I'd sell 50 grand. Advertising. Future of money, mate. Look how much it's gone up. I'd use a bit of money to stabilize the price. I might even artificially try and push it up a bit. Get a bit of a bubble on it. It's gone up. Sell a bit more advertising. Get more kids in. Sell a bit more advertising. Get more kids in. Sell a bit more advertising. My whole plan would be, how much of this can I get in the hands of idiots? And how much of their money can I take? And I would just run it up and I'd stabilize the price. And I would advertise it and I would advertise it and I would tell people it's the future of money. And I would tell people this is going to save the world. And if I made enough, I might think, fuck, maybe I could fund a presidential campaign. I'm going to get him in and I'm going to make the government buy it. It's a fucking scam, mate. It's the biggest fucking scam I've seen in my fucking life. And if I was Satoshi Nakamoto, just like all the other coins, my aim would be get as much of this money, of this fake money, in the hands of the world's young, hopeful men. Get them to pay me their real money. Use that to buy the stock market. Use that to buy gold. Use that to buy land. Use that to buy houses. You'd be thinking, all you would be thinking is, how can I advertise this? How can I get it out? And I know people will turn around and say, he hasn't sold it. He hasn't sold it. Well, it's very easy to fucking short sell it. Because you can look at his account and say he hasn't sold it. Short sell it. Short sell it. Borrow someone else's crypto and sell it. Sell derivatives. You can easily cover your exposure. You don't need to sell it. For me, if you want to do due diligence on an investment, the first thing you want to check is, does it exist? This is points on the internet, mate. And I know people will turn around and say, money is also points on the internet. Well, don't fucking invest in money then. Buy fucking real assets. Buy the stock market. Buy gold. Buy property. Buy land. Buy natural resources. That's what the rich people do. That is what the rich people do. Listen, Donald Trump, is he buying crypto or is he selling crypto?
Seems to be selling it.
He's selling it. Follow the money, mate. This guy made billions selling that. Real money. And he's going to use that real money to buy real assets. And the people that bought that crypto have lost that real money now. Just be careful what you buy. You got to understand there's a lot of people out there that make money by selling you this advice. And if anyone's selling you like, we're going to make you 100% a year, 200% a year. If anyone used the term to the moon, I'd be careful.
Stevenson argues that crypto is a scheme where early adopters create demand, promote it as the future, and cash out, leaving new investors to buy in. He highlights that Bitcoin, created for free, is traded for real money. But those controlling crypto are not holding it long term. Instead, they're using their profits to acquire tangible wealth. Stevenson warns that many people lose money trusting promises of high returns, even though history shows that speculative markets can crash without warning. He also cautions that the larger economic system is built on similar instability, with wealth flowing upward while most struggle. Stick around as he exposes the troubling future of the economy and its impact on the majority.
I don't just say the economy is going to collapse, which is what I say a lot. I don't just say I think Bitcoin's bullshit and it's going to go to zero. I put the fucking money on. And I tell you this right now. If you made every guy on the news bet their own personal money on the economic opinions they were expressing on the news, there'd be a lot less fucking bullshit on the news. I'll tell you that right now. I go out there, I put a video out every week, and I'm saying what I believe, that it's the best economic analysis on the internet. I believe that. A lot of investment banks, hedge funds, would pay me £2 million a year for that economic analysis. How many people that could get paid £2 million a year for their economic analysis do you think choose to put their economic analysis on YouTube for free? That's how I know it's the best fucking economic analysis on the internet. I don't want to fucking tell the public, the British public, the American public, the ordinary people of the country what to believe and what to think about the economy unless I believe it's really, really good. So for me, trading is a fundamental part of understanding what's happening in the economy. And that is how I do it. And in my opinion, basically the economy would just get weaker and weaker and weaker, and living standards would fall for ordinary people. It's a lot easier to say now than it was in 2011 that is the direction we're heading. I think it's increasingly clear for ordinary people. I think we have a crisis of growing wealth inequality. I think that is what has driven the falls in living standards in the last 15, 20 years. I don't think there's nothing automatic in the economic system that puts that into reverse. So I am, unfortunately, incredibly pessimistic about the economic outlook for ordinary people. When you have a crisis of inequality, there's a small group at the top that do really well on that. And there's a slightly big group below them that are kind of protected. But you're talking about 70-80% of people really lose here. And it's just going to get worse. And it's just going to get worse. I believe that is an incredibly important thing for people to know. Number one, just simply so you can have a realistic perspective of what's happening. If you come from a poor background, there was a period of time in this country and in the States and in Western Europe and in a select few countries where people like my dad, and I presume people like your dad, could work ordinary jobs. My dad worked for the post office for 35 years and he was able to buy a house and he was able to support a family. That's over now. But because we had these 70 years, we've been able to kind of create these kind of mythical ideas, which are anyone can make it. The harder you work, the better you'll do. The flip side of the harder you work, the better you can do is if you don't make it, you're lazy, right? But unfortunately, we've created this world which makes it very, very difficult for especially young people to even buy a house. Never mind becoming a millionaire. Even just buying a house and having a family is really difficult. So it's really, really important that you know that, because otherwise, most people in this country, most people in the States are ordinary people. They don't have very rich dads. And a lot of people are quite poor. The truth is, for those people, it's almost impossible to break up. You need to know that. You need to know that because you're going to work really hard. You're going to hustle your way. And most of you are going to end up somewhere near where you started. And probably a bit lower because there's this gradual worsening. If you don't know that, you're going to think, this is my fault. It's because I'm an idiot. It's because I'm lazy. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So I think understanding what's happening in the economy is vital for the mental health of our young people. But more so, the only way we fix this is if people stand up and stop it. Poverty and inequality were really, really bad here 100, 150 years ago. That changed. That changed because our grandparents' generation came back from fighting in a war and said, we're not going to have this no more. We want to tax rich people. We want to demand for ordinary working people healthcare, housing, education, food. And they got it. They got it. That's not normal. That's not the case in most of the world. That's not the case in most of history here in the UK. That's not the case in most history in America. If ordinary people don't fight for a fair share of the pie, history tells us, the world tells us, what they get is poverty. So for me, an economic understanding is absolutely vital for your long-term economic interests. And that is true for trading, although I've made it very clear. I think you need to be very careful with things like that. It's clear. It's true for investing. It's true for taking care of your own mental health, but it's also true for protecting the interests of the future of your family, your kids, your grandkids, your community, the future of our country. So yeah, I think it's unbelievably important. That's the whole. I don't need to write this book. I don't need to have a YouTube channel. I could be on a beach in the Philippines drinking pina coladas, mate. I don't need to be it. I do what I do because I think understanding the economy is the only way ordinary British people, ordinary American people, ordinary young people across the world can protect their interests and protect their future.
Stevenson argues that economic hardship is not just about individual effort, but due to structural imbalances that push wealth upward, while leaving most people with fewer opportunities. Financial markets and policies mainly benefit the wealthy, while the broader population faces declining living standards. He points out that previous generations fought for basic necessities like housing, healthcare, and education, but without collective action today, those protections will continue to erode. Stevenson believes understanding these economic realities is crucial for both personal financial decisions and social stability. Don't forget to subscribe to our 5-minute crypto newsletter for daily updates on the crypto market.